Hi to all the lovely people. I am back again, yet with another element of surprise for you all on your very own channel, that is Tutorials Point. Well, you all are once again most welcome. Here in this video, I'm going to discuss with you a list of interesting and surprising words in English. As we've discussed so many times that English is a language which is full of so many different words, which so many different meanings. It has something in store for everything and everybody. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead and see what are these interesting and surprising words in English. Okay. Now the first one is exceed. Of course, this exceed is something that we all are aware of. But what about this exceed? A-C-C-E-D-E. Now here is what it is. Well, exceed, which is A-C-C-E-D-E, means to agree to a demand, request or a treaty, right? So whenever someone agrees to a demand, that is also referred to as exceed. The pronunciation is same, but the spelling is different. The authorities did not accede to the striker's demand. So here is what it is. So exceed, if you look at the example, exceed means to agree to a demand. So I'm sure this example would have made it very clear to you. And the second one, which is E-X-C-E-E-D, actually means to outnumber someone or to outperform something or someone. So that is what is meant by exceed, right? So the final cost should not exceed $5,000. So one exceed and second exceed, the pronunciation is same, but the spelling is different and the meaning is completely different. So if you happen to hear anybody using this exceed, don't get confused. They are not wrong. They are right, because this exceed means completely different from this exceed. Okay, now is affect and effect. What about this one? Well, what is affect? Well, affect actually means to have an influence on someone or something. So affect and effect, we have heard these words, but then usually we end up confusing them, right? Because the pronunciation is very close, affect and effect. It's almost like you cannot differentiate if you hear anyone use this word. So affect, which is A-F-F-E-C-T, means to influence someone or something. So here's an example. Both buildings were badly affected by the fire. So this one, the first effect, which is A, is slightly different to the second effect. Now let's see the second one. What is effect? E-F-F-E-C-T. Well, the second effect is the result of a particular influence. So affect means to influence something or someone, and the result of it is effect, right? So they both are slightly different. The pronunciation is also slightly different and the meaning is also different. But then again, if you get to hear these words, they sound very similar and we usually end up using them in the wrong context. So here is an example of effect, which is E. Okay, E-F-F-E-C-T. Here's the example. The radiation leak has had a disastrous effect on the environment. So the first effect, which is A, is different from the second effect, which is E. So do not end up confusing them. I'm sure you won't, because now you're very clear of their meaning and their pronunciation as well. Okay. Already, yes, we do hear this word day in, day out. But what is the difference between this already, which is all space ready, and the second one, which is already as in a complete word? Well, all space ready is different from already. Now let's see how. All space ready is like completely prepared. We are all ready to go out for the trip. So that is what is meant by all ready. So as soon as I put my coat on, I'll be all ready. So meaning, when you hear it out, definitely it sounds the same, but the meaning is different, and definitely it needs to be used in a different context altogether compared to the second already. Second already, which is a single word. So already means before or by now or by the time in question. So let's look at an example of already. Anna has suffered a great deal already. So already and already are two completely different words. Do not confuse them. Do not use them in a same context, that won't make sense. Okay, so here's the next pair of words which I chose for you all. Again, needless to say, they sound the same, but the spelling and the meaning is completely different. So here is what it is. Appetite and appetite. Wow, completely. They don't differ even an inch in the way that they sound, but the meaning is very, very different. So is the spelling. Okay, the first appetite, which is apatite, is actually this pale green sort of a stone, which is naturally occurring stone, and it is sort of a pale green to purple mineral which is found in igneous rocks and metamorphosed limestone. So too much of technicality. The point is that it is a mineral and it is completely different to the second apatite that I'm going to discuss with you. Well, this apatite, apeptite, is your desire for food, or usually food, or for anything. That is your appetite, right? That is considered your appetite. Natural desire to satisfy a bodily need is an appetite. Especially it is used for food. For example, he has a healthy appetite. So again, they absolutely sound the same, but the meaning is different, and so is the spelling. So do not end up getting confused with these two words as well. Okay, the next one is ascent. Now, ascent also has two different meanings. These two words, they again sound the same, but they have different spellings and different meanings. The first ascent is Ascent, which actually means the act of climbing or moving upwards. So you ascend up the hill, or they ascended as they went forward for trekking. For example, she made a first successful ascent of Everest last year. So that is what is meant by Ascent. But what about this second ascent, Assent? Well, this ascent is an official agreement or approval of an idea or a plan or a request. For example, let's look at an example. Once the directors have given their assent to the proposal, we can begin. So this second ascent is completely different to this first ascent, which is moving upwards, but this ascent actually means an agreement which you get, or a final yes when you've got to anything which you've requested for. That is an official agreement, or a final official yes is actually referred to as this second ascent. Okay, so here is the last pair of words, again very, very interesting, which I chose for you all. That is clerk and clock. Now both of them again sound the same, but the spellings and the meaning is completely different. So what is this first clerk? Claque. This clerk actually means a group of people, usually those sycophants whom you usually have around, or those people who just admire and support you all the time, or probably they could even be planted, right, to admire and support an artist. So they very, very will strongly agree to whatever you just say, and they more so come across as sycophants. They are actually referred to as clerk. For example, even in her darkest hours, she had her loud clerk of admirers. So this refers to as those group of admirers who will, no matter what, always agree to you. They more so will come across as a sycophant. Now the second clerk, Clack, actually is a sharp noise, right, which is made by two hard objects being hit together. That sharp noise is also referred to as clerk. He could hear the clack of high heels walking past in the corridor. Definitely, if you're wearing high heels, be ready that you will hear clerk, or people around will hear clerk. So that noise is also referred to as clerk, and these group of people who will always just agree to whatever you say, always support and admire you, are also referred to as clerk. Same pronunciation but different spellings and completely different meanings. So, well, I'm sure this entire list of words would have surprised you a lot, because They just sound so similar but yet are so different. That is the beauty of English. Well, I'm sure this would have been very, very helpful for you all. I will see you again in the next video with yet another helpful piece of information. Till that time, keep learning with Tutorials Point and Tutorics. Have a great day.